flying through the big city. Die rolling in the name of diversity. Lima stack teams, 12-hour streams. Made it from the streets of Bath Beach to Gen Con and PAX East. And this ain't no run, it's a movement, you can't stop, you know it's too fun. And like we playing Twilight Imperium, it's gonna take a long time before we get done. But come through, come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose. Come through, come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose.
R51, shout out the squad. Yeah, let's take it to the table, busting out the pieces. Time to vibe at room 51, it's pretty easy. If it's a traded game, we on the lookout for treason. But once you join the squad, trust us, it's not needed. Ain't no need for play counts, it's one big party. Run through that rule book and get it on promptly. Might be some seconds, might be here for some minutes, might be here for some hours, who's to know when we'll be finished. But come through, come through, come through. Cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose. That lose.
Yeah, let's go get it, y'all. Come on. There's two siblings from the empire, stay building the empire, bringing some fam along and building the fan to be longer. Any stream is guaranteed passionate chaos, but all the love of the game shines above any whack vibes. Yeah, blame Matthew if you're looking for a culprit. If you seeking fire, is look no further than Jay Makak. Everyone's debate ready, the bandit goes forth and back. Shout to Stonemeyer, side like craziness in the chat. And the room stays strong through all the tech complications. In tiny town games, you know they ain't a Matthew favorite. But in the heart of hearts, there's room for every single game and not a foot of room for hatred. Rainbow flags flying through the big city. Die rolling in the name of diversity. Lima stack teams, 12-hour streams. Made it from the streets of Bath Beach to Gen Con and PAX East. And this ain't no run, it's a movement, you can't stop, you know it's too fun. And like we playing Twilight Imperium, it's gonna take a long time before we get done. But come through, come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose. Come through, come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose. Come through. Come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose.
Squad 51, shout out the squad. Yeah. Let's take it to the table, busting out the pieces. Time to vibe at room 51, it's pretty easy. If it's a traded game, we on the lookout for treason. But once you join the squad, trust us, it's not needed. Ain't no need for play counts, it's one big party. Run through that rule book and get it on promptly. Might be some seconds, might be here for some minutes, might be here for some hours, who's to know when we'll be finished. But come through, come through, come through. Cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose. That lose.
Yeah. Let's go again, y'all. Come on. There's two siblings from the empire, stay building the empire, bringing some fam along and building the fan to be longer. Any stream is guaranteed passion and chaos, for all the love of the game shines above any whack vibes. Yeah, blame Matthew if you're looking for a culprit. If you seeking firings, look no further than Jay Makak. Everyone's debate ready, the bandit goes for them back. Shout to Stonemeyer, side like craziness in the chat. And the room stays strong through all the tech complications. In tiny town games, you know they ain't a Matthew favorite. But in the heart of hearts, there's room for every single game and not a foot of room for hatred. Rainbow flag flying through the big city. Die rolling in the name of diversity. Lima stack teams, 12-hour streams. Made it from the streets of Bath Beach to Gen Con and PAX East. And this ain't no run, it's a movement, you can't stop, you know it's too fun. And like we playing Twilight Imperium, it's gonna take a long time before we get done. But come through, come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose. Come through, cause when you in this room, there ain't nobody that lose.
What is up? My name is Matthew Makak, and I am joined here today with two very special guests from Gaymin. We got Andy and Rich in the house.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah. So, Gaymin, for those who don't know, they reached out to me to do this little collaboration.
There we go. Good.
For Pride. Yes, and I love your shirt, by the way. I love both of your shirts.
So this is official merch.
Yes.
And then stand up so they can see the text. So my sexual orientation is dinosaur.
I love that. Thank you. That's fantastic. And I love your hat.
It should be his, though.
It should be his.
Yeah, I forget where I found it.
I'm pretty sure this is the dollar store.
This one. I think I got this at it's a store you probably don't even have. It's Five Below.
Five Below. Yeah, we have it.
Oh, okay, good.
It's cool. Yeah, no, it's a chain. All right, cool. Well, I love it. I'm pretty sure my brother has that now as well. That hat, because it's a rodeo, baby. Darth saying, what's going on? It has been a minute. I have not been on Twitch forever. We just came out with a YouTube video not that long ago.
It's been a ghost.
Yeah, I'm a ghost right now.
Been hot in that street corner, trying to make a buck.
Yes. I needed money.
Gotta work it, baby. Gotta work that corner.
But yeah, Andy and Rich, can you actually just tell folks a little bit about yourselves, like what y'all do in the board gaming hobby?
Yeah, so we have a YouTube channel where we do many various things. Actually, we do most of our streaming playthrough board games on our YouTube channel. So this is only the second time I've ever used Twitch. So there you go. Thanks for that.
Welcome on in.
And we do like shorts, we do playthroughs, top 10 lists, just a rigmarole of stuff.
And like this month, we're featuring Rainbow designers.
Yes, this is our Pride Designer Focus series. So we're doing all games by gay and trans designers.
Yeah.
And then we recently did a series that was all Japanese designers. So we like to focus on more like off the beaten path type of games.
Yeah.
We like to feature a lot of like new and upcoming designers, things like that.
Cool. Oh, I love that. I love that a lot because there are a lot of new and upcoming designers, and they're giving there's more voices in the hobby now, which just brings more and more perspectives to games
For sure.
in general. So I love giving the spotlight.
Yeah, one of our best friends is a designer too.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
we've been meeting. We always meet a lot of people through him.
Ah,
So like our Twitter and our Instagram is very like our Twitter especially. We're very basically all we follow are designers. So a lot of
Yeah.
our social media presence is like that.
design. No, that's amazing. And yes, Darth Sayin, I see that you've been busy as well. Need to catch up on some Room 51 YouTube. Yeah, definitely catch up on some of the videos if you'd like, if you find them entertaining. Hopefully, I will be coming out. Actually,
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, I'm sure Darth Sayin is subscribed, and I think that hopefully this month. I did record it. I don't know if it'll be edited in time for Pride Month, but I talk about my transition journey and everything. So hopefully people like that,
Awesome
enjoy it.
talk.
Yes.
And that would be fantastic. But cool. As for your Pride Month stuff
right.
that you've been doing in terms of game designers, we're doing a top 3 list. Now, I might have totally gotten it wrong. I wrote down my top 3 LGBTQ plus board game designers, but it seems like maybe I should have done board games by queer designers.
I was asking him the same thing if we were doing the designers or the games.
So I think because actually 2 of these games are also, we might mention a couple of games we're going to be doing soon by the same designer. So
That's okay.
both works.
Well,
Plus, he's a fantastically nice guy
I do have
or person.
a favorite game in mind from each of these designers too, so I could do that instead. So
Yeah, we can talk about some of their other designs too, because 2 of them are like newer
Have
designers
other
too.
stuff.
yeah, and for those
I think
who are
these are
just
all
joining on
first
in,
time designs.
These are
Yeah.
all first time designers. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I'm very excited to hear about that then. I want to hear about new games, new designers. And for folks who are just joining in, this is a just chatting stream where I treat this as a live podcast of sort. And usually Jess, CCG, is here, but she is not here today because she decided to go on a vacation without me. So it's just me
That
and-
bitch.
I know. I can't wait to tell her that.
Fired.
Fired. Yes, absolutely fired. Everyone on Room
Fucking
51
canceled.
fired. Canceled. All of it. But it's okay because I got Gaymin on here, so that's all good. I'm excited for this. And yeah, so live podcast meaning that Gaymin's gonna be talking, I'm gonna be talking, and the folks watching, y'all could also chat in to see, what board games do you like that have been made by LGBTQ plus designers? Who are some of your favorite queer designers in the board gaming hobby?
Still looking for Rex.
Yes,
I know. We
need
want to hear
recommendations.
more.
I do want to do a shout out that most of the list we did for this month really came from the Hatch This Way podcast, which I highly suggest
Yes,
if you're
that's
into
great.
this topic, because he interviews a lot of not just gay designers but also gay content creators. So
yeah, I'm actually going to be on
that's
that.
a really great resource.
Oh,
Mazel tov! But it's due.
Yeah, that's a great
You're
fellow.
like, "Oh, on your podcast."
Hatch This Way. That's a great one. I remember I interviewed a while ago, but I don't think it aired just yet. I could be wrong. I'm behind. I'm behind on all content creation things. But-
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he records a season at a time. So
Yeah,
I think he just started posting the most recent season. So.
yeah. I think he might have told me that he did that. But my brain is all over the place. But in the interest of
Let's show.
time, let's get on into it. How did you rank yours? Did you have a specific ranking
Should we-
system or?
Well, number 1 is the gayest.
Okay.
Number 2 is
The next gayest?
it's
No, not really.
the heaviest.
Okay.
Yes.
And then number 3 is the lightest, but also the funniest.
Ooh, okay. So mine, since I did specifically designers, I didn't quite have an actual ranking system, except I did put my number 1 at top for a specific reason, and that's just because he's been starting to become a mentor to me as hopefully an upcoming designer myself. So there's a board game I'm working on, and he is starting to help me with that. And I was just like, you know what? That is just so kind and nice of this person to do that. So I wanted to definitely give him a number 1 shout out. But let's start with our number 3s. Would y'all like to go first?
Yes.
Sure, we'll go first. So this is...
Whoop. Did I pull your earplug out?
You did.
I did.
It's cool. So this is
got a little
actually
too
by
excited.
a lesbian designer. This is Deadly Dowagers.
Ooh.
This is a really good drafting game with some very light Euro-y kind of mechanics. So the theme of this game, though, I think is the best theme that exists in board gaming. And I know that's a hot take. But in this game, picture it. You are a young lass in Victorian Britain, and you're oh so poor. And we all know that the best way to make money is to marry men and kill them, and then get their inheritance.
Amazing.
Rinse, wash, repeat. So, in this game, you each play as different dowagers, and you're trying to work your way up. So you start with like a really poor husband, like a farmer, priest, whatever.
But the farmer's really hot. That's
and so you start off, and then you're trying to work your way up to the Duke, because whoever manages to marry the Duke first becomes the winner. So it's a race to be able. And how do you get to the husbands? Well, you got to have money. So you got to invest very wisely in this. There's kind of an economic element to the game, in addition to kind of the drafting.
And you have to watch your reputation too.
Right, because the Duke won't marry you if your infamy is too high. So as you're murdering your husbands, you're going to add to your infamy track. And there are cards that let you kind of, sort of wash your sins away a little bit, or wash away people's memories of your past misdeeds. But basically, if you pass a certain threshold, the noblemen won't want to marry you because you're too infamous. So you have to kind of do this kind of balancing act. Okay, I want to kill, but not too quickly and not too much. But also I want to race to be able to get this. So what you have to do...
spicy.
you have to juice up your husband. So you're investing these cards into your husband to make sure when you kill them, they have the juiciest inheritance possible, so that you can reinvest that money into attracting the next husband. Because you also need money.
It's not all just work. You can have affairs too.
Oh yeah, you do get some free money from doing affairs.
But that increases.
Talk about
your
working the
infamy
streets.
level.
Yeah, it does, because you're slut.
Because you're slut.
But then of course, if you buy an estate, that takes off that infamy, because money equals power.
I love this.
So this is a pretty fast game. It plays.
Oh, and he didn't even say the best part. Like how you kill the husbands.
The cards.
My
for
favorite
killing the
is
husband.
like with a hat pin.
I like inheritance powder myself.
Oh yeah, inheritance powder.
Yeah, because the method in which you kill them will determine how much infamy you get. So, if it's a more surreptitious death, it's less infamy. If it's there's one that is shoot him in the woods, that I think is the most infamy. Because witnesses, the foxhounds were right there. So this is a super fun game. It plays up to 6, and it's really fast because most of the play is simultaneous.
Yeah, this is not a long
because it's a drafting game. The only part that you kind of have to do in turn order is the snatching of the husbands, but it's like a 30-minute game, I would say.
Yeah, we've never gotten into any fights over the husbands. I wonder why that.
But you're competing for the Duke, so there's more of that race element to get to the Duke, because there's big stacks of the husband. So yeah, generally, if you want a certain husband, I would say, if you're playing at 6, there might be more competition because there's only a certain number of cards, husbands, in each stack. But it's just a really fun game. This is such a cool first-time design, too, I think. Sarah Shipp is the designer, by the way, in case I did not say that.
And it's a good... we played it... we tend to play most of our games with just the two of us. But for games we get together with other people, this one's really popular.
Yeah, I think it still works well at two as a drafting game. Just, I mean, because you draft basically, I think it's a hand of 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you draft, is it 2 at a time? I think you draft 2 at a time.
That I don't remember.
And then 1 at the end. So, you're only passing the cards so many times in 2, because the thing with drafting at 2, sometimes, like, you basically start to memorize, like, what's in the hands, right? So that's, there's a little bit of strategy here in taking something someone else didn't take in the drafting, but it's pretty quick and you're not drafting a super big hand. So it still works pretty well at 2, I think. So,
Cool. Well, I love it. It kind of reminds me of, in terms of theme being out there, the Bloody Inn, if either of you played.
Yes,
we love the Bloody Inn.
Very similar vibe to this one, I would say. And a similar kind of way of using money, I would say, too. Though this isn't quite multi-use cards in the same way, but...
It's
cool. Definitely similar.
Well, I'm definitely going to check that one out, and I might reach back out if I forget the name. But it sounds cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Deadly Dowagers.
Yeah, that's a really fun one.
All right, cool. Well, my number 3. So, like I said, I had done designers, but I'll also state some of my favorite games from these designers. So my number 3, but not really number 3 because he's a fantastic designer, is Isaac Vega, who's a gay man, and he...
Oh.
Yeah, and he is very, very cool. So all 3 of the people that I've listed, by the way, are folks that I have some sort of relationship with, some sort of friendship with, and he has been very, very kind. He runs, he's a big part of Rose Gauntlet. That's an organization that is for minority folks of race, gender, sexuality, all that stuff. And he goes to conventions and puts on events and everything for all these kind of folks. So he's been really awesome, and I would imagine that if I'm put on the spot right now, my favorite board game from him is Forgotten Waters. That is a very fun... board game where it's narrative driven. It goes up to, I think it goes up to like 7 or 8 people. It's one of those big ones, but I think it's...
Oh, that's good.
I never played that many.
I think that it's better at a smaller player count. But yeah, you are a pirate and you have your own little like objectives that you're trying to go for, while the entire crew, because you're playing cooperatively. I'm gonna say semi-co-op because you are all trying to win the overall adventure, but you yourself can lose if you don't fulfill your own objective, which is very cool. It's very piratey in that way, and I think he took that from Dead of Winter, another game that he has worked on. But yeah, you feel like a pirate in this one, and I love that. I love the app. It is app driven. It's worker placement, real time worker placement. There's a lot of decisions to be made.
Yeah, I've heard the voice acting is really good in it too.
It's so good. It's so good, the voice acting. And the decisions you make are great. But overall, really, it's about that story driven nature of it, which I am always there for. I love story driven.
We like that too.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, our number 1, which we haven't gotten to, but
well, I mean, we haven't really done like a really narrative based game. I would say, we like games that are like more thematic and immersive. Yes. But Forgotten Waters is one that's been on my list for a while because I do want to get into more narrative based games.
Yeah,
we don't have any pirate games, do we?
I don't. The Sail.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go. Yeah,
Sail
that's the only
thing, technically.
one.
Oh boy, now. But yeah, actually, we have an Isaac Vega game coming in the next month, which is his new one, which is the foraging one, Wild Gardens, which is really good.
Cool.
And you're making recipes. So you're going and foraging ingredients out in the woods, and then you're making delectable recipes for your friends. It's I'm really excited for that one. To check him out because I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Ooh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard things about it. I don't know much about it. Again, I've been outside the board game realm for the past almost 2 months at this point. And things move very quickly in this world, apparently.
It's more resource management, contract fulfillment. I think it's a little bit more of a straight ahead Yuri kind of feel than Forgotten Waters, but Forgotten Waters has been on my list. I definitely want to
like the title of that.
I think you would like it just for the voice acting is pretty funny. There's like a whole story.
Well, it's just we love water related
aquatic
themes. Anything that's aquatic.
Yeah, our July theme is going to be aquatic games.
Yeah, we love it.
We have a lot. So,
I love it. No, that's great. Yeah, and Isaac Vega, great guy. From what I've seen, and
yeah, we got invited to the big gay dinner they do at PAX Unplugged.
Yeah,
so I really want to try get there this year because Amanda Panda invited us to that. I'm like, we were gonna go last year, but money. So I'm really hoping we can do it this year because that would be fun.
I hope so. I go every year. That's my favorite event of all conventions. Honestly, it really is.
I've heard it's really good. Yeah,
it is so good, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger.
Yeah, we have our own West Coast convention coming up here in a week and a half, but it's smaller, So,
All right. Well, cool. Well, what is your number 2?
Okay, it's over on your side, baby. So this is another first-time design. This guy did recently come out with a game that we're going to be featuring on our channel soon, which is drag queen themed. Oh. This is not drag queen themed, unfortunately, but it is human pyramid themed.
Yes.
So this is Castelle by Aaron Vanderbeek. This is one of the heavier games by a gay designer that we have. This is
it's one of the harder
medium weight Euro, I would say. It is about, if you don't know this game, this takes place in Spain. We're in Catalonia. And there's actually a tradition in Spain during the summer. They have these festivals where people train the whole year and make these gigantic human pyramids. Like I'm talking like freaking 3 stories tall. Human pyramids, with hundreds of people. It's insane. And so in this game, you're moving around, the countryside of Spain. You're trying to recruit people, grow your troop that you're going to make these human pyramids with. So you're collecting these different tiles that have different numbers on them, and they're different widths and different heights. And you're trying to, you're basically trying to upskill and train them on this wheel so that when you get to these festivals, which happen at kind of regular intervals and at particular locations, so that when you get there, you're going to be competing against other people potentially to get, basically you're going to score the tallest pyramid, essentially. It's a little more involved than that because the puzzle of this game of making those pyramids is really will break your brain the first time. It's very brain burning because in addition to the rules for how to make the pyramid, you can only have a certain number wide or, a certain number in each row or certain
you're going to have a small kid at the top.
You always put a little girl with a helmet on top. Okay. The only one that gets protective gear. And then you got big burly burfas on the bottom, as it is. Mm-hmm. And so, but what's really mathy about this game is not just the puzzle of making the pyramids, it's also the puzzle of those skills. And so you can see on the round structure when all the festivals can happen. But you also have this skill wheel. So as you move around the board, one of the actions you can do is train. And basically each round, this wheel is going to turn. So what you train for at each location will change each turn. But at the beginning of the game, you can see where the wheel starts. So you can really math out this game to where, okay, I need to make sure that I'm in this location on this round so I can train this skill so that I can also make sure I'm not too far away from this location where I want to go on the next turn. And so there's this weird kind of calculus you have to do in this game, which makes it super brain burny.
But this is a total brain burn.
But it's still pretty brisk. I would say like it's an hour and a half game. I think it works better. It would work better at 3 and 4. At 2, it's just your little tit for tat with the sort of festival because you're scoring based on your pyramids when you go to the festivals. But in this game, you can have a situation where you're the only person that's competing in that festival if the other person doesn't manage to make it there. And then when you get into the later rounds, you can have multiple festivals going on in different locations. So at 2 gets a little, you could have less, it just feels less competitive, I would say. It still works. But I think, at 3, you would get a little bit more interaction Because it's not really intended to be multiplayer solitaire, you know what I mean?
Ah, I pulled it out.
But this was a game that you did not like when we first played.
Yeah, this was one.
Yeah, do you
That
want
was-
to
It
talk
was
about
just
this
hard. I don't even know whether I would say it was. What did you say? Medium weight or hard?
It's on
Medium.
the heavier side of medium,
It's one of the harder games that we have. By the way, good job explaining it. I never could do it that well. There's like too many things going on in this game, and unlike like he's saying, there's a wheel and it changes and all this stuff. It's hard. But I wanted to say, Matthew, take a good look at the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does this remind you of anything, like maybe a music video
Oh my God.
you've seen?
All the lovers.
Yeah.
Where are my Kylie heads in the house?
Oh, okay.
All the lovers.
I have
That's not her
seen the
mom's
music
well-known
video.
song. It's fine.
Oh, you have to. There's doing
basically-
something like
It's
this.
this
I don't
huge
know.
writhing human pyramid orgy thing, and she's on a little white horse, like being lifted up by this writhing human pyramid of naked bodies.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
God.
that's-
Okay.
That's
That's cool. That's cool.
But anyway, it makes you realize how crazy Spaniards are. Like, I mean, oh my
Yeah.
God, if you look online and see pictures of this, it's just incredible.
they're not professionals, though.
Yeah.
I think there are professional troops now, but generally speaking, this is something where just random people in town will meet up to rehearse like once a week at the rec center and then do this crazy human pyramid thing. Like, it's just wild.
What? Yeah.
But then these are also the people that do the chasing after the bull thing, or the
and
bulls
the big
chasing them.
tomato fight thing.
Oh my God. But anyway, this is a really good game. If you like Euros and you want something that's different, like that's not a resource management puzzle, I would highly recommend this one. He's a really good designer.
yeah.
It's an extremely solid game.
Yeah.
I can say.
Yeah, and I
that.
can't wait to try his drag queen game, Extravaganza.
Yeah.
That one you're competing in a drag queen competition.
I
So
love
that
it.
one I'm really excited
Oh,
for.
I'm so excited for that.
yeah.
I didn't realize that was going to be coming out. I'm super excited for that. And I did not know that this was a queer board game designer. I did not know that. I've not played
Yeah, I just
Castelle.
found out recently too.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I would definitely check it out.
I've not
It's a
played
really
it,
good
but
game.
I've wanted to. It's been on my list of games that I really want to play. I've heard things about it that it's very difficult. I would say, just from what I've heard, it
It
sounds
is.
more heavyweight than medium, but I don't know.
I think that it breaks your brain a little bit at first, just figuring out the spatial puzzle of the pyramids. But once that clicks for you, it's really, really quite brisk. But I think the first play of it especially is very, very brain burny. But so it's one of those games, once you played it, like I would say after once, maybe twice, it'll start
It'll
to
get
click
it.
for you,
Got
is
it.
what I would say.
Yeah, that
I
makes
mean, it
sense.
would help to play with somebody that already knows the game.
That would help too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
That would help
It
for
always
sure.
does. It always does. And I just want to say, hello, Slivers. Please let me know if my volume is a little bit better now. He was saying that my volume's a little low, or very low, actually. But I just brought it up. Hopefully, it's louder now. And all your meetings went long, so I would say quit your job, and that way you could spend all your time with me. On Room 51. That would be good. All right.
Happy unemployment.
Happy unemployment. My number 2, is another great designer I have a relationship with. She's just been phenomenal. Now, I am afraid that I'm going to pronounce her last name incorrectly, but it's Bez Sharari. And yes, Bez, she is just an absolute joy. She makes very quirky games, and I love them. My favorite one, and for folks who know Room 51, you probably know this one already because we play it all the time on our channel. Let's see if I could get the name correct. A wee whimsical game of a wee game of whimsical creatures and the way they sound, something like that. It's so good. It's basically just this deck of cards with all hand drawn by her, these pictures of these like creatures, double-sided and everything, and one person can see what all the creatures are, and there's numbers on top of them. So you might draw out like 6 creatures, and there's number 1 through 6 on top of them, and then the other person will close their eyes, or people will close their eyes. The person who's looking at the creatures, they'll draw a random number. So let's say I get the number 2. So I have to sound out creature number 2, what I think that they might sound like, just based on their picture, the drawing of them. And then you make some wacky noise that you think sounds like them. And then the other person, or people will open their eyes and try to guess, like, okay, I think maybe it's that creature because that one has 2 noses and it sounded like Matthew was going for 2 noses sounds or whatever it might be. So just something ridiculous. And it's just so much fun. It is. It's so much fun. It sounds ridiculous, and it is. But the amount of laughs I have gotten out of this game is it's like Bez, pure joy is the game. So that is my number 2, Bez, or also I guess their company is called Stuff by Bez.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to cover one of her games for our own Pride series. Still waiting for it to get here. I think it's Flowers on Towers. I think it's like a roll, right? But yeah, a monster one sounds fun too. We should take that to RageCon because that would be a fun convention game too.
Yeah, it's just a deck of cards. It's great. One. It's great.
Yeah, she has some she's very quirky little designs, very like innovative.
Yes,
so
yes, very innovative. Cool I recently
her and Zoe Allred, who's another one with a similar vibe.
So, oh yes, you're right. And I actually recently backed a little game by Bez. Not that recently, I guess kind of. It was like $2, literally $2. And I haven't actually played it yet, but I know that it's about coloring in. But it's a competitive style game where you're coloring in these pictures that she's made. And I have to actually play it to see what it's really about, but it just seemed really cool. And what Kickstarter is $2? None. So Bez has it.
Yeah, I'm all about like those $5-10 Kickstarters. Like, like that's, like I said, I love like finding like those random projects by designers out there just kind of like doing their thing. So
he's very good at getting games, especially ones that he knows I'll like.
Yeah,
he absolutely knows what games appeal.
So speaking of, our number 1 is a game that when we first started our own channel, I was like, this game was on Kickstarter at the time, and it's like, okay, we absolutely have to get this. If you are a gay channel, we can't not back and cover this game. And actually, we did the only 2-player playthrough of this game on the internet. And I actually have authored the unofficial rules errata for this game as well. So this should tell you how intensely passionate we are about this game.
Yeah.
And that is Stonewall Uprising by Taylor Schuss.
Yes.
Who is a dear friend of the channel. And also we have another prototype by him. So which is in this Rising Sun expansion box. But we'll talk about that one after. Which we're covering that game this month for the Pride Designer Focus series because we've done this game to death already. But this is a 2-player only. There is a solo mode. There's a lot of solo content out there on this game. But guys, it's really a 2-player only game. So I'm just putting that out there. But this is an asymmetric tug-of-war game about the gay civil rights movements from the 60s through the AIDS crisis, where one of you is playing as Pride, so the gay civil rights movement, and one of you is playing as the man, the forces of homophobia. And it's mostly a deck builder. So deck building is one of the main things. So you each have sort of your own market of cards, your own deck that you're building. And Pride's deck starts off a little juicier, but the man's starts to get really aggro in the 80s because Reagan and AIDS. So it's pretty intense thematically once you get to the 80s. But it's mostly deck building and a cube pusher. So like Pride is basically going to win if they manage to push the Overton window down a certain amount. Cool. But the man is going to win if they jail enough activists. So there's like this little prison where the activists are kind of coming in and out of, they're getting demoralized. And it is just, Rich actually was there during the gay civil rights movement.
Yeah, cool.
So could you talk about like the emotional experience of this game?
Okay, gosh, playing as Pride, it's really oh man, I've never sweated so much during a game before because it's
because it is asymmetric.
Actually, I think every time we played it, Pride has won, but it always
I won as Pride.
Oh yeah,
and I won as the man.
It's generally your true.
You do have to work a little harder as Pride in the 60s and 70s for sure, I think. But it's the
80s. It's the 80s that is.
It's
really
the 80s
tough.
because once you get to the 80s, the man starts to basically the way that it works is you have a different market for each decade. So like you have different cards for the 60s, different cards that are going to come out for the 70s, and different cards that are going to come out for the 80s. And there's only so many rounds for each decade.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a limited amount of time in order to build your deck from certain decades. And so for Pride, there are really good cards like Marsha P. Johnson comes out in the 60s. So that's a really useful card. Whereas for the man in the 80s is when their really juicy cards come out. So, and a lot of those cards basically have like, if they play it, it's like an automatic win condition kind of cards. Yeah. So you have to really, really focus on building your deck much more strategically as Pride, I think. Whereas the man, you can just kind of wait. You know what I mean? Because a lot of it is you're pushing these cubes back and forth. So there's a lot of tug of war stuff going on. So you can kind of get stuck in this loop of where you're just on defense as Pride too much, when really what you want to do is start becoming more aggressive and pushing things into you're sort of pushing things into your end zone in order to get special bonuses. But if things go into the man's end zone, that's what's going to cause you to get dinged and lose.
Actually, I think there's quite a lot you can learn from this game. I was a teacher.
Oh, it's really well researched. So if you want to like a game that can teach certain people about the gay civil rights movement, I think this does a really good job of including, light but informative flavor checks, because most of Pride's cards are actual activists.
Yeah.
Real people. It is very, very much a historical game because it's a historical war game publisher. But this is more Euro-y than wargaming.
Yeah, I would too. But I think I was trying to think who else would be interested in this game other than obviously LGBTQ people. But the other thing that I think is this game really is kind of it has a lot to teach about political science, which I took a lot of in college and stuff. And this really, for instance, like you mentioned the Overton window, which
is the actual mechanic in the game.
Yeah, it's like when a subject becomes even enough recognition in society so that you can talk about it until
societal
obviously like gay people had to get a certain amount of even notoriety or publicity, and then over time it becomes more possible to talk about these things without it being a big to do. But obviously we can certainly learn about this now too.
It's just there are very few games I would say that create a very intense and emotional immersive experience like this one does, especially if you're gay. But I think even if you're not gay, you can still appreciate what is going on here because the stakes are very, very real. Like it's literal life and death by the time you get to the 80s in this game. There's a literal track for AIDS deaths in this game.
Wow.
So, it's not necessarily for the light of heart in that sense, but I really think that Taylor did a really tasteful job with this really talented designer. And I think there's just no other game like this. There's no other experience I've had gaming like this game. So if you're looking for a game that's really going to immerse you and like really in sort of a story like that, that's not necessarily a narrative game, I think this would be really high up on my recommendations for that.
Yeah.
This game.
Well said.
And also
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, it sounds amazing. I know about this game, and I've wanted to get this game, play this game, but something that scared me about it was the potential of playing as the man, and I feel like personally I would never want to play. But I'm curious what your thoughts were.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say on this. Oh, as I was saying, like the first time I played it, I was playing as Pride, and it was like I was saying, you're sweating bullets through the game. But when I played the man for the first time, it was like you get so relaxed because it's like it's just not, you're not sweating it like you do when you're playing.
You still
as
have to
Pride.
work as the man.
You have to work a little
because the man's starter cards aren't as powerful as Pride's, so you do have to work as the man. But what I would say is that yes, you do get an emotional, immersive experience, but there's still very much a game here. Like, it's very mechanics forward. So I think Taylor did a really good job at creating something where there's a certain level of, I don't want to use the word disconnect, but there's a little bit of distance between you personally and what is happening in the game to a certain extent. At least for me personally, like, because I was worried about that too, that it would be too triggering. I personally don't find that it is. I think that it's tasteful enough. It's like not like the man's cards aren't like super graphic or anything. It's right. He does it in kind of general way, like things that were going on in society and stuff that was happening without, leaning too hard into he doesn't have cards of gay bashing and stuff. But I think there are some things I could understand someone being triggered by even just having the man there in the game. I personally feel like there's enough of a game here that you feel like, okay, well, this isn't really real. I can have a little bit of separation. I can compartmentalize this a little bit from whatever trauma I may have. So I feel like he did a really good job of finding that balance.
I mean, I think it's probably less triggering than watching a movie that covers
or a lot of war games, I would say.
Or a documentary.
Yeah, because I think it's honest, but I think it's not too graphic or intense or super harrowing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Honestly, I would give it a try. The only thing is that, you might want to, if you want to start out playing as Pride, you're going to have to find somebody that wants to play as the man.
Yeah, so there is
a
a solo mode where you can only play as Pride in the solo mode, and there's a deck for the man. The deck for the man is a little even more intense. I would rather play against someone playing as the man because I think it would be a little more even and not the solo mode is very punishing. Very punishing. I feel like if you're worried about feeling like, society is crushing you.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're playing against actual human as the man, I feel like it's less, it feels less punishing, and you always feel like Pride is if you can win. You know what I mean? And even the win condition at the end, even if you don't technically win as Pride, it basically says in the rule book, well, you might not have pushed the Overton window far enough yet, but there's still more work to be done. So it is still a hopeful game.
No,
in the
I
end.
love that.
It's not all doom and gloom.
That's cool. Okay. Funny enough, I think that I'd actually be even more interested in playing solo. I love solo games that just punish me over and over.
Well, then you love this one. Yeah. It is a very good solo mode. I will say the AI deck is very easy to manage, so I think it is a solid solo mode. Cool. Just for me, I felt it was too punishing, but if you're into punishing solo modes, by all means.
Yeah.
And then just real quick, this is this prototype of his we're doing is called Love Potion Factory.
Oh yeah.
It's a worker placement game with magnetic meeples.
Oh, I love that already.
So it's a dexterity game meets a Euro game.
Oh.
I'm really excited to cover that one on the channel. He's a very talented designer.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, unlike anything I've ever played before.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah.
And what did you say the designer's name was?
It was Taylor Shuss.
Taylor Shush.
SHUSS.
Yeah, I think his next game coming out is something where you're throwing paper airplanes and trying to hit targets or something.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember all the details
on
that. He's in his dexterity era.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Where the thing's coming out soon. Yeah,
cool.
So,
Okay.
Very great designer.
Taylor Shuss. Okay, well, I am definitely going to check it. Y'all have brought amazing games to the table today, so thank you, because you just got me pumped for some of these games. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to check that out.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
These are definitely some of our favorite games, so I'm really glad.
Yeah, they're all very solid.
Good.
Always pimping, always repping.
Yeah.
Proselytizing.
Good.
Amen.
Good. Amen. And okay, well, my number one is another board game designer that I do have a friendship with, and like I said earlier on in the stream, he is helping me with my current design process as I try to make a board game that is also very. It's got LGBTQ plus themes all over it because it's about She-Ra, Princesses of Power, of course, my favorite show of all time. And but his name
good
is.
luck getting that IP.
I know that I'll worry about that later. But
You
this
can do it. I believe in you.
What's that?
I believe in you.
Thank you.
And the power of Grayskull.
And yes. Thank you. The power of Gay Skull. So the designer for me that's number one is Seppi Yoon. And yes. He has been fantastic.
Have to cover his game this month.
Yes, actually, he's going to be sending me over a new game. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it actually just yet. I get confused by that, so I'm not even going to say anything.
I know the struggle. I know, us too.
We have the same issue.
The same issue with John's designs. So,
but the game that I'm thinking about is one that I fought very hard for on this channel. As folks might know who've been watching, Conquest Princess Fashion is Power. That is by far on this list my favorite game.
Conquest Princess?
Yes, Conquest Princess Fashion is Power.
It sounds like our pet. We have
Princess Caligula. She lives in a big pink palace.
we have a pet mouse.
That's so fun. You know, there are pets in this game that you can have. You can have pets in this game, actually. And it's essentially somebody said that it's like a cross between Star Trek and Sailor Moon. The theming, and
really cool.
I agree. Yeah, it's very, very good. For me, I said that it felt more like Steven Universe in a way. It's it's got a bit of quirkiness in it. It's got queerness all over the place in this game. The representation is so high in this game.
Lots of sparkles.
Lots of sparkles, and
lots of sparkles.
it is a cooperative style game. Co-ops are probably my favorite things to play, but
yeah, that's what got us into the hobby too.
Yeah, they're
co-ops.
fantastic. Co-ops are great. But in this one,
I considered backing this game, but I just wasn't completely sold on it. So I'm ready for the spiel.
Oh, here it is, baby. Must back it. I won. I called this game revolutionary. Because it did enter more of the mainstream and it was so representative of queer folks. Now, in the game, like I said, it's a co-op and you're playing as part of the team called Tiara. But Tiara actually stands for something that I do not remember. TIARA. It's an acronym for something, and it's all very cleverly done. But essentially, it's a bag builder that you're all doing collectively, and you are trying to defeat enemies. There's different scenarios that you could play. They start you off with a tutorial scenario so that you could play while you're learning, which I always love when games do that. And in this one, so you're taking these cubes out of the bag to see what actions that you want to take, right? Maybe you want to blast some folks that are the enemies of this agency that you're a part of, or maybe you need to move, maybe you want to set off an ability that within the room that you're in, because they give you special abilities. Also, your characters have special abilities, and you can unlock an even more powerful ability. Now, the very cool thing about this game, this is like one of the best mechanisms I think the game has, because it has a mental health aspect to it. So the design, so Seppi, he talks about it in the rules. So that was something else that was very cool for me, because I'm a licensed mental health counselor. So I'm a therapist as my day job / night job, and whenever there, because you could sometimes miss, right? You draw something and it's crap, but what you do is you put that on your board, making the bag better for your teammates. Now, of course, you can't carry all the weight of the world on your shoulders, so eventually you have to give it back, right? You have to put it back into the bag and let others help you, and sometimes carry that burden as well. I love that. I love that that is part of the game as a mechanism and as a theme. So Conquest Princess, Fashion is Power, fantastic. Seppi Yoon is an amazing dude. He's hilarious. I know, the title is fantastic.
He has, for people that like content creators who talk about game design, I really like Seppi's, board game designer advice of the day series that he does.
Yeah.
Like shorts on YouTube.
He does, yeah.
Really great. And this is his biggest game he's done so far, isn't it?
is.
Because I know we have a smaller game by him that we were going to do. I want to check this one out because I've been looking for another cooperative game we could get into that's not just the typical, putting out fires. People are, I mean, there's attacking, right? Like you're defending.
Yes.
I forget if you're defending against the other force, but
you are.
So I was a little on the fence about that aspect of it. But I like the bag building element, though. We need more games with bag builders.
Love bag building.
We did one by Steve Armini that was a bag builder meets worker placement one called Groves, which we really enjoyed. So I would that's interesting to me, the bag building element too.
Yeah,
I have heard some good things about it. It just looked a little heavy for our tastes in some ways, but I've gotten you more into heavier games lately. So
how difficult would you rate the game?
Honestly, I would say like light to medium. It looks more intimidating than it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It can.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. It definitely
This
takes
is
up a big
production.
space on the table. It's got a big footprint for sure. But especially if you go through the scenarios one by one, you start to learn more and more. It's really actually very. The game does not have as much going on as it looks like it has.
That's good to know. Yeah, I do want to check that one out for sure.
Yeah. I sell it to everybody. I'm like, everybody get it. It's great. And yes, Slivers met Seppi a couple months ago, which was so cool. You got to take a picture with him, which is awesome. I don't know if I have a picture with Seppi, actually, now that I think about it. I mean, I've met him in person, of course, but I don't know if I got a picture with him. I have to
Get that pic. Like when I met Steven Armini, who's one of our other favorite designers, he's straight, but he's the mentor of our best friend John, who's a up and coming designer. Yeah. But anyway, when we met him and got the sign thing, I said I pulled my video camera out. Can you say our board game channel and thumbs up the camera? Like I don't care. I will be total fangirl.
Yes.
No shame.
We still have
you can do that. Dude, they're into that shit, man. It just stimulate their ego.
It's true. It's true. I know. I love it when people come up to me.
They're board game designers. They're not like actual celebrities.
Exactly.
So we should make them feel like celebrities.
Yes.
They're
no,
like, oh.
I agree. I have board game designers usually sign my games. I love when they do that. But it definitely does. It strokes egos. I love it when people come up to me and just either they say they know me or they want a picture with me or whatever. I'm like, really? So it feels great.
Cool, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is going on, Mr. John Wick? Cool. Well, we're about to wrap up here. Yes, we're about to wrap up here. So can you actually just let folks know once again where people can find you?
Yeah, go to youtube.com/getgaymin. That's GAYMIN apostrophe. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram, which it's the same thing. It's just Instagram.com/getgaymin. I think on Instagram it's get.gaymin.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all up on the social media. We stream like 2 to 3 times a week. So if you're into streaming,
if you're interested,
I assume you are if you're watching this Dog and Pony show.
Definitely check out Gaymin. They are fantastic, as you see. They're great people. I see Stardust up in the chat. Yes, there are definitely some great and humble board game designers out there for sure. Yes, there are. I love all of the people that I mentioned, and Andy and Rich mentioned some great people as well. But cool. Now, the most important question, who should we raid? Let's see.
What's up?
So on Twitch, you can raid into another channel, so you send all your viewers over to them and show them support that way. So I just have to see.
Oh,
Who
that's
should we
neat.
raid? Who's streaming right now?
Yeah, I gotta check it out. Let's see. And if anybody who's watching has a
Oh, it's not Wednesday.
no, today is Tuesday. Oh, I think Luzapalooza is. Oh, Jamie Daggers is on. Well, in the
Hey, Jamie Daggers.
yeah, let's do Jamie
Jamie
Daggers.
I like her. She's fun.
She's great. And in the interest of pride, we're gonna do Jamie Daggers here. So, let's see. Tim is average. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tim. You are awesome and not average. Welcome on in here. I feel like I haven't seen you in a hot minute, Tim.
Our life is so full of Tims. The guy we streamed with last week was Tim.
Oh,
Also,
really?
our #1 fan of the channel is Tim.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We're always shouting out Tim, like on every stream.
Tim!
So if you do watch this and you hear us like shouting out Tim, like ad nauseum, that's who we're talking about. I actually play Spirit Island with him on Thursdays.
Ooh, cool.
Online.
Spirit Island. Now that is a game that I thought I would like more than I did, unfortunately.
Love Spirit Island.
Yeah. My brother loves it.
I didn't.
I like
it.
playing
I
with
still
Tim
don't
because
like
we have
it.
a 100% win rate.
What?
You gotta
That's
divide and
crazy.
conquer, baby.
Divide and conquer. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. Please give Jamie Daggers some love.
Thanks for having us.
And don't forget to follow Gaymin. They are awesome. Okay. And I will see y'all later. Bye.
Happy
Happy
Pride.
Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Bye.
Okay, and I think we did it. I think we rated.
And that was it.
And that was it. All right.
Good job.
Cool.
That
Thank
was
you both.
good.
Good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that went fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I'm glad we can make it happen.
I am so glad that we were able to
and you
make it
got
happen.
got done in the nick of time.
Yes, yeah, I have to jet on out, but this was a lot of fun. Definitely reach out again if you'd like to collaborate again. I am very bad at
Yeah,
reaching out
maybe
to
once
folks.
we're done with the Pride series again, we could like talk about maybe our list changed.
Oh, maybe, yeah,
Oh,
that'd
I'm
be
sure.
great.
Right.
Yeah, because we have a bunch of new ones that we're gonna be playing for you in the next couple weeks. But yeah, I'll let you know whenever you want to do it again.
Yeah.
I'm always down.
Okay, great. Thanks again. This was awesome. I'll catch y'all later. Okay.
Thanks
See
for
ya.
all of your game recommendations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, thank
that's
you.
it.
I might reach
Conquest
out.
Princess.
Yes, Conquest Princess. Check it out. All right.